everybody
You gotta
needs
help them
those.
out. You gotta pick them up. This is for you.
This shit right here is as real as it gets. Mess around with the needles like Russian roulette. Smoking meth out of light bulbs. Have your ass up for weeks at a time. It's like turning your lights off. Paranoid as shit at everything that fucking moves. Now you got that itch, now you got the blues. Think about the cash, so you about to break the rules. Head to the dope boy, what can I get for these tools? You used to be the man, you used to own a house on top of the world, till drugs turned you out. Now you're just a bum, you're living in the slums. Stealing every day, you even steal from your moms. You had everything that you could ever want. You traded it in for a little bitty bump. Addiction is this ain't no joke. I seen it firsthand how this shit goes. Addiction is a trip. Put you down the wrong path real quick. Addiction is no joke. Fees will do anything for a little smoke. They got meth and heroin. They popping pills, snorting cocaine, Zanny bars, Percocets. They sell them off a little Novocaine. For your boats, you can hear the fiends choke. In this room you can't see cause it's full of dope smoke. Now they chest getting heavy, they thinking that they gonna die. No, they just sleep deprived, it's hard for them to sleep at night. Been up for 6 days, now this boy he really stressing. Looking over his shoulder cause his homie steady texting. Now they riding and he thinking if he plotting what's the reason. This shit to drive you crazy, this stuff to bring out demons. He just got to pack the pregnant girl, she wanted 22nd. Think that baby deserved to be born premature. That's the take your life if you don't know what it's worth. Just ask God forgiveness, make your knees hit the dirt. See, I live in this struggle and I've witnessed day to day. Accidental overdoses, bodies carried away. Kids home alone and ain't eating in days cause they mama getting high and they daddy locked in jail. My heart real heavy, I can feel that thing breaking, baking and bleeding with this new generation. See, I see them younger and younger, sticking their arm full of Satan. It's time to change the shit, so why the hell we all waiting? Addiction is a trip, put you down the wrong path real quick. Addiction is no joke, these will do anything for a little smoke. They got meth and heroin, they popping pills, snorting cocaine, Zanny boys, Percocets, got these fools numb off a little Novocaine.
All right, I think that was pretty awesome. What did you guys think? What y'all think? All right. All right, we have somebody who wants to say something. And here you go.
My name's Cody. I'm a drug addict, alcoholic. I'm here. I go to the Packard Institute, West Akron, on Market Street. You don't have to be a drug addict to be there. You could have any problem. Go in there and get help. Whether you're on drugs, off of drugs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, male or female. We welcome everybody, and it's helping me. If I make it to the 26th of May, I'll have 6 months clean. When I came to this city, all I had was 2 trash bags. That's it. I just drove up here in my car. That was 5 months ago. I suffer from mental illnesses as well, bipolar, anxiety. I was born with this. I was a drug addict way before I ever did drugs. I look back before drugs and I can see the behaviors. It wasn't until I started doing drugs that it came out. Started doing drugs about 15 years ago. Been a drug addict half my life. All my life. Been using drugs half my life. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys a little story I like. Someone told me. It's about this drug addict walking down the street. Walks down the same street every day. There's a hole. He falls in it. Same hole, it's always been there. Lawyer's walking by. He says, "Hey, man, can you help me?" Lawyer writes a motion, throws it in there, says, "Get back to me." Doctor's walking by, says, "Hey, man, can you help me?" Doctor writes a prescription, gives it to him, says, "Make another appointment." Drug addict alcoholic's walking by. He says, "Hey, man, can you help me?" Dude jumps in the hole. He says, "What are you doing?" He says, "It's all right, man. I've been down here before. I know the way out." Amen. It's possible.
Thanks, Cody. All right, Alicia and Bree. Bria? Bree? I like Bree. All right, please welcome Alicia and Bree. Bria.
So first off, we're going to talk about two people, our mother and our aunt. Back in '07, our aunt was murdered. She was stabbed to death over drugs. She had did drugs her whole life. But first off, it doesn't affect just them. It affects our whole family. Many years later, it's still affecting our family. Our mother had four girls. There's me and her and two other ones. She's been doing drugs her whole life and still continues to do that. There are ways out. It's hard. By any means, it's not easy because you want to continue onto that path. But there's ways out. There's help. There's people to help you and people to guide you. I'm standing proof, 25 years old with two children and not doing drugs, have never touched a drug in my life. And I'm out. I strive not to be like my mother. That's the one thing she taught me, is not to be like her.
Okay, our aunt, she had sobered up plenty of times, just like her mom. She's always gets sober for about 5-6 months and then goes right back to it. She had a stroke last year, she almost died, and it crushed all of us to even have to go and see our mom like that. They had to give her medicine every day so she wouldn't go through withdrawal, so it wouldn't kill her. Our aunt, she like that too. She met some guy over on South Street. There's people around, they heard it happening, but nobody went and said anything as my aunt was getting murdered. It was all over some narcotics, Percocets, Ritalin, and I think like Xanax or something. All of it. She lost her life. Her kids lost their mom. We lost our best friend, our aunt, everything. And just, if you guys see something, say something to somebody. You don't know, it could save a life.
Thank you for that. I wish Terry Hastings could have made it. Her son Tyler, he was shot and murdered. And do you want to tell the story? No? He was one of the inspirations of even starting to stop the violence. And since then we added the addiction aspect because we're losing too many people. Let's see, '04 was the year I lost my brother. He drowned due to drug-induced psychosis from methamphetamine. 2008, my kids lost their father. Accidental overdose due to a mixture of drugs. I found a cousin at 5 in the morning in January. She had died from a heroin overdose. That was pretty traumatic. I think it took me a couple months to get my mind right. I still I have nightmares, something that I don't ever want to ever have to do again. It's pretty rough, you know, and being in recovery myself, I know it's difficult, but it can be done. It has to be something that you want for yourself first. It has to be your first priority. Other than that, if you're doing it for any other reason, it's not going to work, and that's the truth. But you know, I wanted to share that with you guys. I mean, this is something that we're dealing with, and we don't have to. We don't have to deal with this. You know, the end of silence part is pretty much, you know, I think families and people and society as a whole need to quit pushing it under the rug. They need to talk about it, get it out in the open, so that way people can address it. If you're not addressing something, you see what I'm saying? You have to address it, period. That's what starts it. I think it's a domino effect. You bring it out, and it just trickles on down like a stack of dominoes. I think it takes, you know, each person, you know, me, anybody here who struggles with addiction. It takes each one of us to keep going out in the trenches, sharing our stories, to offer encouragement and hope, because you can overcome it. Ever since the Unite to Face Addiction rally in DC last year, they've expanded a lot of things for people who suffer from addiction. It's not as difficult, but there's still like a lot of work to be done. Sometimes it makes people feel like they're not using the right drug because they can be turned away. I think I started losing people at the age of 20 to heroin. I cannot count how many people I lost. I really can't. It's sad. Violence, yeah. I almost died in '94. I was assaulted. Could have died. I may not even be standing up here. I may not even be able to talk, walk, anything. She's funny.
You gotta laugh to keep from crying.
Well, anyway, if anybody has anything to share at all, please come up here. It's open mic time. It's time to open your mouth.
Time to end the silence.
Address the violence, address the addiction. That's why we are here today.
Come on now.
I see R.I.P. Vince.
All right.
Yep. All right.
Hello, my name's Sean. I'm a heroin addict, and on the 17th of May, I celebrated a year clean. You know, I've been fighting for like 6-7 years trying to get clean, and always end up in jail and institutions and stuff like that. I lost my little cousin Vince last year to a heroin overdose. He died right in my bedroom, but you know, it's just the part of addiction. Just gotta keep fighting and stay strong for my family and go from there. But thank you for letting me speak, and you guys have a good day.
Thank you so much for that. You know, it takes a lot to get up here. I think it took me about 3 years to even be able to stand up here and be okay. To even, you know, I'm not shy anymore. I can say what I want. So I have freedom of speech. That's right. All right, does anybody else? Anybody? You know your story is going to help somebody. Closed mouth don't get fed.
Hi, my name's Tracy and I'm a heroin addict.
Hi, Tracy.
I've been clean for 96 days today. I fight every day. I pray tomorrow that I'm sober. It's the 5th month and I've already lost 7 people this year. I don't hang around none of my friends that I yet used to have. They're all out of my life. But that's the way I had to go to get sober.
I appreciate that. Everybody please give her a hug. Pray with her. Do something to keep her encouraged. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take society as a whole to make people feel loved. You know what I'm saying? You got to show your compassion to people. There's a lot of people that walk around here hopeless and helpless. They feel like nobody loves them at all. And you know what? We love you. We do. Every person involved in Save Our Youth, Stop the Violence and the Silence, we love you. That's why we're here. Great, thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alyssa. I am an opiate, heroin addict, meth addict, whatever. Next month, God willing, I will celebrate 2 years. It is possible, and like everybody else has said, this definitely started with mental illness, depression. I have major depressive disorder. I have generalized anxiety disorder. So I was pretty much a mess. And I thought drugs would help all of that, help me come out of my shell or whatnot. And that's just not the case. That doesn't happen. For a long time, I was into opiates for 6 years, very hard, and then I found heroin and lost everything in about 4 months. Today my life is amazing. It's never perfect, but it's amazing. And you can do it. I guess one of my main goals right now is to help young women that really, really, really need support. If you know somebody that may need a ride to a meeting or something like that, I do that. I don't know. If you're out there struggling, just get help. Just get help. It's not your fault, and you're worth it.
You're on Facebook?
Alyssa Courant.
Thank you, Alyssa. I really appreciate that. And that does help when you have support like that. You have to build a strong support system. There's a lot of people out here like, dang, if I could just make it to that meeting, I'd be all right. Dang, if I could just make it to that assessment. Dang, if I could just get on that waiting list. Yeah, get in even a detox bed. Sometimes they don't even have any available. You gotta wait. And then after the detox, sometimes you have to deal with that gray area most of the time. And that's when a lot of people tend to relapse. They start using again because it's taking too long for them to get into a rehabilitation center, treatment center. But I do know of one, it's NOAH. You can look it up. It's an acronym. NOAH, N-O-A-H. I think they've been running for about 5 years. They do have a couple beds for females. Right now, for males, you can go to an IOP until a bed opens, and it's as needed. They do take insurance like Medicaid or whatever, but if you don't have insurance, they'll still take you. So you can look them up, not on Facebook because the page is not updated. So look it up, like Google NOAH, Akron, Ohio. The lady, Lisa Parsons. So, but right now I want to ask if anybody else has anything they want to share. Anything. Encouragement. Encouragement. Anything. All right. Anybody, you guys? You guys want to share? Okay. Well, it's like only, 6 something? Who has the time? 6:24. Okay, since nobody has anything to say, why don't we're gonna have, is Kevin still here? Because I can't see. No? Pray. Okay, we're gonna have a prayer, but then we're gonna have TKT perform that song Addiction again. I just want to say, keep fighting. Don't give up. Your life depends on it. You are great. You are going to be an asset to the world. You're going to help change the world, and you're going to help somebody else who is following in your footsteps and isn't an addict, an addict. So somebody who may be thinking of retaliating with violence, try to talk them out of it. We used to knuckle up back in the day. We didn't have to go reach for a gun. It wasn't the way. So, but we understand this day and age, kids feel like they have to carry a gun because they have to defend themselves because somebody's shooting at them. But for right now, I'm going to turn it over to Face. Face is going to say a prayer, and then they're going to do their song again. I want to thank everybody for coming out.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day that we can gather and talk about this. It's been a struggle for a long time. Not only drug, but violence. It's just evil. But in the dark, there's always light. Even in a thunderstorm, lightning makes it to where you can see. God, I thank you for everything that you've done for us, and I thank you for everything that you're going to continue to do for us. And I thank you for getting a chance to know the addiction, because through the struggles that I've had, or through the struggles anybody else had, it probably could save somebody else from going down the wrong path that I went. Lord, we thank you for everything. Just hope to see a better day, a better tomorrow. In Jesus' name, amen.
Real quick before they perform, I have somebody who wants to make an announcement.
Hi everyone, my name's Liz. My cousin Sean was just talking about losing my cousin last year. This year on July 16th, my aunt who owns the town pump in Lakeport, she is doing a Vince Johnson Memorial Poker Run to raise money for IBH. It'll be on July 16th. There is an event, it's public on Facebook. You can find it there. And I hope to see you guys there.
Thank you for that. And one last time, I'm going to offer the mic to anybody if you want to say anything. You want to tell somebody, hey, good job, glad that you have come this far in your life. Anybody? You want to share?
To everybody who talked today, keep up the good work.
Thank you for that. All right. Jean? Okay. All right, that's good. So you want pictures? All right, let's all right, go ahead and start the music. I want people to come up here because we want to take some pictures. I want everybody up here. Everybody. Don't stay in your seat.
Come on, everybody.
Come on.
Everybody. Come on, man. You too, God, man.